Another embarrassing lapse from the Home Minister. Sushil Kumar Shinde ended up naming in Parliament the 3 minor girls who were raped and murdered in Bhandara.
Now, the Home Minister named the victims in Parliament. That reference had been expunged after Arun Jaitley drew Shinde's attention to his mistakes. But that name and those names figuring minutes later in Shinde's statement that was put out by the Home Ministry in a press release that was subsequently withdrawn. Shinde has admitted his mistake and ordered an inquiry at this stage.
हाउस में जो बात आ गई येलोपी ने बताया तो उसके बाद वो हमने भी विड्रॉ कर ले लिया और चेयरमैन साहब ने जो डिप्टी चेयरमैन बैठे थे उन्होंने भी विड्रॉ के ऑर्डर्स दे दिए हैं और इसके बारे में मैंने सेक्रेटरी को बोला है कि इसकी इंक्वायरी करो. Yeah, they are minor girls. That is why it is removed, expunged.
Wait, and you have ordered an inquiry into this matter?
Yes, yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Who is conducting an inquiry?
वो अभी जाने दो यार अभी.
I think what happened is clearly something that the Home Minister didn't want to insist upon, and I think very graciously he withdrew. So I don't think there should be an issue on this at all.
It's very unfortunate and very shocking that the Home Minister chose to name those poor victims who were actually brutally raped and murdered in Bhandara.
Coming from Home Minister of India is totally unpardonable. It is government who should take cognizance of this because he has violated the law of the land by making such an irresponsible statement. He must be, taken to task for what he has done.
And of course, it was all started by Mr. Arun Jaitley, who on the floor of the House pointed out to Mr. Shinde that he'd made a mistake, following which Mr. Shinde asked for an explanation and then realized what he'd done. Of course, some big questions being posed by Mr. Shinde and his boo-boo.
That's right. Even when corrected by Jaitley, why did the Home Minister ask him to explain again? Meaning that he perhaps just doesn't understand these basic elementary rules. Also, as somebody who was a policeman, shouldn't Shinde have been aware of the law, especially on a sensitive issue such as this? And why did the MHA release statements with the names even after being expunged? So really a lot of gaps that came out in that gaffe once again. Now, the names of the Bhandara victims were expunged from the records after the BJP's Arun Jaitley pointed out to the mistake. Just listen in.
Victims are never named. The identity of the victims is always kept a secret.
Yes.
In paragraph 2 of the Honorable Home Minister's statement, the name of all the 3 victims has come in.
Will you please explain again?
No, the point is the victims' names have been already in the list. If they are real names, they should not be there.
Yeah, I think that
now the Honorable LOP has raised a very, very important point. See, I would therefore take this step that those names are expunged.
You have Ms. Smriti Irani, BJP MP, joining us on the phone line. Ms. Irani, the Home Minister seems to be prone to make mistakes, but this latest one really shows that perhaps he's just not aware of basic regulations and rules.
You know, it's quite ironical that I have continuously pleaded with the Union Home Minister to ensure that there's a change in attitude and enhancement of aptitude amongst all those people who are supposed to protect and defend and serve the vulnerable sections of society, many in the police force. Now, it's ironical because it's the Home Minister himself who's ignorant of law and procedure. Today in the House, he has disclosed the identity of 3 minor victims, which according to the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012, the identity of the victim was to be protected and not disclosed publicly, certainly not read out on the floor of the House and the statement circulated amongst the media. It's also ironical that the Indian Penal Code section 228A punishes disclosure of the identity of the victim by 2 years. Now, can you imagine that here is a Home Minister that we are all pleading to bring about a systemic change, to ensure that the administrative and the police branches serving under his leadership are effective? How can you expect police and administrative branches serving under this Home Minister to be efficient in any manner whatsoever when the Home Minister himself is so callous and ignorant? either this is a deliberate oversight, or if the Home Minister is pleading ignorance of the law, then one has to seriously question as to whether such an incompetent individual is fit to lead the nation as the Home Minister.
Ms. Irani, it seems the problem is not just with the Home Minister in this case. Unfortunately, the Home Ministry again then goes and issues that statement of his in Parliament, and again doesn't do a fact check, so the names actually come out once again, this time from the Home Ministry. That statement now stands withdrawn, but again there's a basic problem in the way even Home Ministry officials are seeing this.
No, I am of the opinion that the responsibility ultimately rests with the leader leading the whole administrative branch or leading the ministry. If the officials serving under him are ignorant of the law, that is definitely a matter of concern. But what is also a matter of concern is the Home Minister himself and the Minister of State for Home, who was very much there present in the House, did not even realize the mistake that they have made till the Leader of Opposition, Arun Jaitley, got up and attracted their attention to this fact in the statement that was read out by the Home Minister. So what is extremely, I think, shameful is the fact that we are being led, our security concerns are being addressed by people who are absolutely ignorant of law and procedure.
All right, so say the Home Minister says, okay, it was just a mistake, and as you saw, I don't know if you saw that bit that we just played out for our viewers, where he says, just let it go, something like this. Would the opposition be willing to let it go? Because Mr. Shinde is prone to make statements that are not suitable.
No, I think if you look at the consistent things that people of this nation are supposed to let go when it comes to, with regards to the performance of the Home Minister. When the Delhi gang rape case happened, people protesting on the streets of Delhi were lathi charged, and the Home Minister equated them to Maoists. When the Hyderabad blast took place, the Home Minister pleaded helplessness and told the House that, I haven't slept all night. And today the Home Minister, after revealing the identity of minor victims, is saying, let it go. So what is the indication that the Home Minister seeks to give to people at large? That they will continue to be incompetent, and we have we are supposed to let it go and forgive and forget all the mistakes and the incompetence of leaders like him.
And what do you think, should there be action against him? I mean, we are talking about a very senior government, I mean, we're talking about the Home Minister of this country.
I think the Congress party time and again has spoken about the need to protect and provide security to women and children, the need to ensure that their dignity is also protected. Now the Congress leadership has to seriously sit and think as to whether they have any competent leader who is good enough to address the concerns of people in this country. Why is it that we see an incompetent gentleman, and I'm sorry to use this, he's a senior politician, but his past performance in the Ministry of Power is also not something that one can write home about. So is the Congress leadership continuing to reward incompetence? Is a question only the Congress leadership can answer.
And just to go back to the larger issue, Ms. Irani, of course you were also speaking about it, which is the actual tragedy that's taken place in Bhandara, and how it's been 15 days and there's been no progress that has been made so far. What do you really have to say about that?
The Home Minister in his statement has said that we suspended a PI, and time and again I have said on the floor of the House and outside Parliament that till credible action is not taken against erring police officers, one will not send a very strong message to those citizens who seek protection of the law or who seek to prevent crime. Now here is a case where a helpless mother is sitting in a police station till 1:30 in the night, and there is nobody who takes cognizance of her case. Only after the media highlights this case that the government in Maharashtra begins to take some kind of action. But the incompetence of the police in Bhandara is highlighted in the Union Home Minister's statement, wherein even the Home Minister admits that the dead bodies of the girls were not found by the police but by citizens.
Smriti Irani, we'll have to leave it at that. Apologize also for that bad audio in the last 30 seconds or so, but that was a BJP spokesperson attacking the Union Home Minister for his comments. Let's go straight across to Arunima. Arunima, he wants this matter to be put to rest. He says let it go. The BJP obviously not in a mood to let it go, but basically how embarrassed is he and how embarrassed is his ministry? This is a very basic thing that they should have got right. There's absolutely no excuse to make this mistake.
Well, that's right, but in a knee-jerk reaction, an inquiry has been ordered to fix responsibility. One wonders what responsibility can be fixed when the minister himself was reading out that statement, agreed that there might be a bureaucratic lapse. Some bureaucrat might have mistakenly put in those names, but while reading out, how come the minister did not realize that he was violating norms, and how come he still did not realize when opposition leader Arun Jaitley pointed it out to him that the names of minor rape victims cannot be revealed. But this of course is not the first time that Sushil Kumar Shinde has been accused of being insensitive or of the foot and mouth disease. Listen into all the bloopers in the past.
2 दिन से हमारे पास इंफॉर्मेशन आती रही है। आज भी सुबह हमने जब हमारे अधिकारियों से बात की कि वो जो इंफॉर्मेशन आ गई थी तो पूरे देश भर में हमने सभी राज्यों को वो इंफॉर्मेशन दे दी थी। It was given easy to few states, few cities also where that I had to check up. देखिए ये बहुत बार ऐसे अलर्ट जाते हैं, अलर्ट देते हैं, यह भी देखना होगा क्या स्थिति है, किस तरह की। मैं भी देख रहा हूँ कि प्लेन एक तो हमारा खुद का प्लेन गया है, शायद मैं भी सुबह तक प्लेन मिल जाएगा तो मिडनाइट में भी मैं जा सकता हूँ कभी। I don't think police have failed. You see, it cannot be said at this moment.
अब जाने भी दो यार और let it go यार. That was the statement that Mr. Shinde made today when media person attacked him for a statement in Parliament. But like you've been saying, will the opposition let it go? That's the question.
Arunima, just to go back to the technicality of all of this, where exactly did the details and what he was reading out come from?
Well, what we are being told is that the concerned Joint Secretary level officer asked Maharashtra Police to send all details about the Bhandara rape case. This was after Mr. Shinde made it clear that he will make a statement on the issue in the Parliament. The concerned Joint Secretary in his defence says that he was asked to forward all details to the Minister without making any changes. So whatever details Maharashtra Police gave him, those were sent to the Home Minister's office, and the final draft of his speech was prepared by the Home Minister's office and not by the concerned bureaucrat. But the question there is that even if there was a mistake by a bureaucrat, how come when the minister was reading out the statement in the Parliament, he did not realize that there was something amiss? Even after reading out the first name, he could have stopped, or even after reading out the entire thing, he could have told the chair that this was a mistake and it should be expunged. But instead, he waited for the leader of the opposition to point out the mistake, and subsequently, the statement was released again by the media wing of MHA.
Arunima, he didn't just wait for them to point out the mistake, he actually asked Mr. Jaitley what the problem was when it was first pointed out. But let's just listen into what happened first.
Victims are never named. The identity of the victims is always kept a secret. Yes. In paragraph 2 of the Honorable Home Minister's statement, the name of all the 3 victims has come in.
Will you please explain again?
No, the point is, the victims' names have been already in the list. If they are real names, they should not be there. Yeah, I think that now the Honorable LOP has raised a very, very important point. See, I would therefore take this step that those names are expunged.
Mr. Jaitley, of course, a lawyer, and Mr. Shinde has been a policeman. So both of those gentlemen actually on paper should be knowing the law very well, Arunima. How are congressmen in Parliament responding privately to Mr. Shinde's boo-boo?
Well, obviously everyone is very, very embarrassed, and we heard Salman Khurshid, the External Affairs Minister, there trying to defend Mr. Shinde by saying, well, he has withdrawn what he said. But is that a good enough reason why Mr. Shinde should not be held accountable for this mistake? Because even though he is now withdrawn, the Home Ministry has issued a fresh statement saying that the earlier press release stands withdrawn. The point is that when that statement was being read out, when the identity of those minor victims was being revealed, it was being broadcast live on all private national channels, and subsequently when the Home Ministry sends that press release, it still had the names. So obviously nobody had learned the lesson, not the minister and not his ministry. Nobody seemed to care that you were being insensitive and violating guidelines and law by revealing names of minor sexual assault victims.
And of course, Arunima, this is a Home Minister who's just had to apologize to the opposition about his comments on RSS and BJP running terror camps, and that was a big political controversy. He's had to apologize to them to make sure the House is able to run. So he's gone and done this again to himself, and within weeks, literally.
And before that, if I can remind you, when our editor-in-chief Rajdeep Sardesai was interviewing him in the wake of the protest in the Delhi gang rape case, he had said famously that why should I go and meet the protesters? Tomorrow if Maoists want to meet me, should I go meet them as well? Then when a monthly press conference was happening and somebody asked him that how come Afzal Guru was denied the chance to go in for a last judicial review, you denied him that chance, he said tomorrow you would have asked me, I should have given that chance to Kasab too, thereby meaning that Kasab and Afzal were any less human beings who should be denied that right to final judicial scrutiny. So he is not new to controversy, and the way, I mean, he's been a local politician in Maharashtra, he's believed to have very good contacts across party spectrum, and with that smile on his face he has managed to keep everybody happy. But now with that job of the Home Minister, maybe that smile is not helping him enough. Maybe it's time for him to check the words and the demeanor itself, because the way he's been going from one goof up to the next, being the Home Minister of the country, he's not just jeopardizing his own stance but also that of the ministry.
But see, remember, we can discuss that in the media. We've seen one sort of gaffe that's taken place after the other, and this problem of perception is something that is becoming a real issue here. So you're saying, and everybody's saying that perhaps he should be more careful about what really comes out in terms of his statements. But in terms of really any sort of official caution to him, in terms of he should be much more careful, the kind of image he's putting out there, does that really happen with the Home Minister?
Well, far from a caution, if that quote-unquote Hindu terror comment is seen even there, after he had issued that statement expressing regret for hurting the sentiments of any political party or group, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kamal Nath had gone on record to say that Mr. Shinde had not apologized, merely expressed regret. So even then he was not censured. It remains to be seen that if in such a sensitive case as this, he will be asked to apologize, or there will be any kind of censure or accountability fixed by his party vis-a-vis his role. Because after the Delhi gang rape case, a lot of talk was going on about need to sensitize police forces, about need to sensitize bureaucrats. But what happens when the Home Minister of the country himself is not sensitive to a minor rape victim?
Right, Arunima, do we expect Mr. Shinde to have to clarify once again and perhaps express regret once again? He's already done that, but obviously there's too much anger and disappointment with what he said. So that hasn't really gone home yet. So will the message be repeated perhaps as a damage control exercise?
Well, he has withdrawn his statement already, and the statement has been expunged from the proceedings of the Parliament. The Home Ministry, which issued his statement again as a press release, has issued a fresh statement saying we are withdrawing the earlier press release. But instead of an apology, what the Home Minister has said is that let it go. I mean, it's just an honest mistake. But can you really let him go with that honest mistake? That's something for the opposition really to decide, if it will make Home Minister's life any easy when the House reconvenes next week, or will the opposition really let it go?
And Arunima, the fact is that this is not just a matter of one mistake. This comes after a series of mistakes, and this latest one has been made on a very sensitive issue and in a case that there's been really no progress that's been made, and it's shocking. It's been 2 weeks since those little girls were found dead after having been sexually abused.
Many of his critics will say once again, Mr. Shinde has failed to inspire confidence as Union Home Minister.